Curious George, a curious little monkey. Here he comes, as happy as can be. Curious George, a curious little monkey. Why is he curious? Let's go and see.
Curious George plays baseball. Your friend Jimmy is waiting outside to play ball with you, George, said the man with the yellow hat. You two have fun, but don't get into trouble. George went out to the front yard. There was Jimmy, the boy who lived next door, holding a bat and a baseball. Come on, George, let's start the game, he shouted. He gave George his bat and pitched the first ball. Uh-oh, George swung and missed. Try again, George, said Jimmy, and pitched the ball back. George really hit it this time. The ball whizzed through the air and disappeared. Jimmy and George looked everywhere, but they couldn't find it. Maybe we can use something else as a ball, said Jimmy. George looked at the apple tree in his front yard. What would it be like to hit an apple? George was curious. He climbed the tree and picked the biggest apple he could find. Then he gave it to Jimmy. Okay, said Jimmy, I'll pitch again and you bat. Jimmy pitched the apple. George swung the bat. The apple sailed over Jimmy's head, crossed the street, and splattered all over Jimmy's house. Oh no, cried Jimmy, it hit the window of my baby sister's room. She's taking a nap. I hope they didn't wake her up. Let's go see. They ran over to the house to take a closer look. What a mess. There were pieces of apple all over the window. Jimmy's father came out of the house. Look what you've done to the window, he said. I told you not to play near the house today. You know your mother isn't home and I have to take care of things. Go to your room, Jimmy. And George, you clean up the mess. You've got 4 hands to work with. George got a bucket and a sponge and came back to clean the window. How good that he was a monkey. He climbed right up to the 2nd floor of Jimmy's house and scrubbed the window. Now the glass was clean and he could look inside. But what was the matter? Something seemed wrong. The baby was awake and the front side of the crib had been left down. Next to the crib on a little table stood a bottle of milk. The baby was moving toward the edge of the bed, trying to grab the bottle. She might fall and hurt herself. George tried and tried to open the window to get inside and stop her. The window was locked, but George knew what to do. He leaped over to the next window, which was Jimmy's room. George tapped on the window. What are you doing here? Asked Jimmy as he rushed over and opened his window. Quickly, George took Jimmy's hand and led him across the hall to the baby's room. When they opened the door, the baby was about to fall out of the crib. They got there just in time. Jimmy's father came running into the room. What's all the noise in here? He shouted. George saved the baby, said Jimmy. Somebody must have left the front of the crib open. Just then, the doorbell rang. Jimmy and George went to see who it was. It was the man with the yellow hat holding a baseball. Jimmy, he said, I just found your baseball not too far from the old apple tree. Why don't we all go to the park and play baseball together? Jimmy's father and the baby joined them. Can we, Dad? Asked Jimmy. Yes, he said, as soon as your mother comes home, I'll come over and be the catcher. It turned out to be a great day after all.